today's video I'm going to be talking a little bit about modernity and what it is. My comment about Marshall Berman and his very brilliant book is that he's perhaps got this rather nice idea of modernity in his life, but it's an idea that seems to exclude what I have long considered is the underbelly of modernity. So the culture of modernity that we have today, and from whom many people benefit, is a culture that is prevalent in certain regions of the world, although it is spreading its tentacles ever further all the time. But it is prevalent in certain areas of the world, and that tends to be what is fashionably called in academia the Northern Hemisphere, or just the North. And it is the Southern Hemisphere, or the South as it's called in academia. It is the South that is paying the heavy price for this amazing, exciting new era called modernity, which the North is engaged in. So this has been part of my personal observations about modernity that I hate to use the word privilege because that's an overused word today as well, and it's been abused by many people. But I would say that yes, modernity and the experience of modernity in the somewhat optimistic sense that Marshall Berman uses is an experience that is had by people who are privileged enough to experience it. I mean, again, if you're living in a favela in Latin America where there are people running guns and drugs and you fear for your kids going out on the street, then a mother who's trying to raise her children in that kind of environment, does she consider herself as taking part in one dialectical process of modernity? So that's one point that I have to say about Marshall Berman's definition of modernity and his idea of modernity. And then he says that certainly this is not the only way to interpret modern culture or culture in general, i.e. the broad and open way that he's just referred to. He says, but it makes sense if we want culture to be a source of nourishment for ongoing life rather than a cult of the dead. So what he's saying here is that if you don't embrace, in fact he uses the term modernism or modern culture, so the aspects of modern culture, if you don't embrace that, then culture becomes, as he has used in his own words, the cult of the dead. Well, that's his idea, that pre-modern culture is the cult of the dead. That is quite a broad brush with which to paint pre-modern culture. So, and again, he's making a very clear breaking point or a very clear division between modernism and the modern era and the pre-modern era and the culture of the pre-modern era. I don't think there is this clear-cut division between pre-modern and modern. Every nation has its traditions that have been passed on for centuries, and of course now we have many traditions that people don't understand. I mean, they don't understand why they're carrying out a tradition, but that tradition may be very important for them because it's a way of connecting them back, not just to their ancestors or not just to the dead, the people from the past, but it's a continuation of one's existence. It's acknowledging a reality, which is that, yeah, we are a continuation of the previous generations.